Report card season is now in order.
To me, this is just a perfect fit, perfect player. It's a very team-friendly contract. I could not love it more.
Let's dive into our final grades for the 20 biggest NFL free agent signings of 2026. Ray Hendrickson, A-. $112 million over 4 years is a lot of money for an injury-prone defensive end who turns 32 next season. But hey, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, it was a simple deal that had to be done. Oh, in case you missed it, the Ravens nixed a blockbuster trade that would have netted them Max Crosby for 2 first-round picks. So they get to keep those 2 selections and get another elite pass rusher anyway. Look, just saying, the Ravens haven't had an elite edge rusher since Matt Judon left in 2021. Hendrickson fills the void for a team that is built to win now. Willis, B+. After releasing Tua Tagovailoa, the Miami Dolphins quickly pivoted to Willis. The ex-Green Bay Packers backup agreed to a 3-year deal worth $67.5 million, immediately taken over as Miami's new QB1. It's a lot of money for a guy with 6 career starts, yes, but Willis was excellent as Jordan Love's understudy in 2024 and 2025. He had a 78.7 completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 261 rushing yards, and 3 rushing scores. Based on where the QB market is these days, it's a fair contract for Willis. Kenneth Walker III, A+. The Kansas City Chiefs had one of the league's worst rushing offenses last season. The Chiefs didn't want to play around. GM Brett Veach inked the Super Bowl 60 MVP and hero on a 3-year deal with $43.5 million. So Patrick Mahomes finally gets some help on offense with a game-changing running back. And hey, just saying, KC hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher since 2017 when rookie Mahomes was Alex Smith's backup. Chiefs get a 2-time 1,000-yard rusher and big game machine at a very reasonable rate. There is nothing to dislike about this deal, folks. Jalen Phillips, B-. Hey, we won't blame any Carolina Panthers fan who jumped for joy when their team landed Phillips on a 4-year deal worth $120 million. He makes their defense better. He also is a giant overpay and, yeah, just saying, both those things can be true. Tyler Linderbaum, A. The Las Vegas Raiders landed the top free agent offensive lineman available, inking the former Raven to a 3-year deal worth $81 million. Raiders' offensive line was dreadful last year. Linderbaum can single-handedly change that dynamic, though, which is vital for both incoming number 1 pick Fernando Mendoza and running back Ashton Genty after a tough rookie year. Mike Evans, A+. After spending his first 12 seasons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Evans stunned the NFL by leaving for the NFC rival San Francisco 49ers. The future Hall of Famer signed a 3-year deal worth $42.4 million to join Kyle Shanahan's star-studded offense. Evans is 33 and coming off the first major injury of his career, but he'll get plenty of favorable matchups with opposing teams having to focus on Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Ricky Pearsall. Evans will stretch the field and should rack up the touchdowns in the red zone. He is the ideal fit for Shanahan's offense and will have a golden opportunity to catch a 2nd Super Bowl ring. Oweh, C-. One of our biggest pet peeves in free agency is when a desperate team overpays superstar money to a player who has never been close to a superstar. Case in point, Oweh. That's just too much cash for a guy who's logged double-digit sacks once in his entire career. The other glaring issue here, look, Washington's defense is more than just an Oweh away from becoming elite. How much is he really going to move the needle? Wan'Dale Robinson, C-. Yeah, the Tennessee Titans had to overpay to upgrade the league's worst pass-catching core. It doesn't mean that they get a full pardon for giving Robinson an outrageous 4-year, $70 million deal. Robinson had a career year in his final season with the New York Giants, catching 92 passes for 1,014 yards and 4 touchdowns. But folks, the guy was targeted 140 times for crying out loud. He better have good numbers. Also, his production didn't spike until after superstar wideout Malik Nabers suffered a season-ending ACL tear in Week 4. The Titans regrettably gave Calvin Ridley big money in 2024 free agency, and, well, how's that worked out? The only reason for optimism here is that new Titans OC Brian Daboll was Robinson's coach in New York. So, maybe the familiarity will help. But we are not counting on it. Devin Lloyd, A+. We may have our questions on the Jalen Phillips signing, but hey, good luck finding a legitimate complaint about the bargain 3-year, $42 million deal that the Panthers agreed to with Lloyd in free agency. Lloyd had 5 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, and 81 combined tackles in his final season with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He may not repeat that production in Carolina, but Lloyd nevertheless provides Carolina with the do-it-all linebacker that they haven't had since Luke Kuechly retired. Etienne Jr, C+. The New Orleans Saints stunned everyone by winning the Etienne Jr. sweepstakes, landing the ex-Jacksonville star on a 4-year deal worth $47.4 million. But only $24 million of it is guaranteed, all through the first 2 seasons. So if Etienne doesn't pan out, the Saints have an easy out of his contract in 2028. It's a risk worth taking. Tyler Shuck had a superb rookie year, and he needs more weaponry. Alvin Kamara has passed his best before date, so the contract is kind of fair for a 3-time 1,000-yard rusher. Though it might be difficult to sustain that type of production on a rebuilding New Orleans squad. Romeo Doubs, A. The New England Patriots released top receiver Stephon Diggs in a cap-saving move, opting to land a new #1 pass catcher in free agency. They signed ex-Packers standout Romeo Doubs to a 4-year, $68 million contract. And it seems like a lot of money for a non-superstar receiver. But you know, he led the pack with 724 yards in 2025, so just imagine what he'll do in an expanded role with his new team. 2026 is the year that Doubs emerges as a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. Mafe, B. The Cincinnati Bengals had to move quickly after losing Pro Bowler Trey Hendrickson in free agency. They found a suitable replacement in Mafe, who helped the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl last season. Mafe's playing time was reduced in Seattle thanks to their deep group of pass rushers in 2025, but he had 9 sacks in 2023 and 6 in 2024. The potential is there, and now he'll actually get starters playing time in Cincinnati. Jamel Dean, A. A longtime mainstay in the Bucs secondary, Dean left Tampa after 7 seasons to join the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Super Bowl 55 champion signed a 3-year contract worth $36.75 million with Mike McCarthy's squad. Dean finished as PFF's 3rd-graded cornerback for 2025 at 80.6. Dean has also allowed just 3 touchdowns in coverage since 2024. So in other words, he'll significantly bolster a Steelers secondary that already has a quality cornerback tandem of James Pierre and Joey Porter Jr. John Franklin Myers, B+. After 2 strong seasons with the Denver Broncos, Franklin Myers signed a 3-year deal with Tennessee for $63 million. That seems like a very fair contract for a player who logged 14.5 sacks over his 2 years in Denver. Titans have one of the league's premier defensive tackles in Jeffrey Simmons, and now he's got a running mate to help him off the edge. Bradley Chubb, C. The first big move for Buffalo Bills GM Brandon Beane was trading for Chicago Bears star wideout DJ Moore. The second was signing veteran edge rusher Bradley Chubb to a 3-year deal worth $43.5 million. It's nice to see Beane being aggressive after winning a power struggle with Sean McDermott, but it's kind of odd that he chose to pay top dollar for a player with an injury history as long as Chubb's. Chubb missed 12 games in 2019. 10 in 2021, and all of 2024. He's not exactly young at age 30, and he has hit double-digit sacks once since 2019. Woolen, A. After winning his Super Bowl 60 ring with the Seahawks, Woolen stayed in the NFC to take a 1-year, $12 million deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Woolen hasn't returned to that all-pro form that we saw in his 2022 rookie year, but this is a guy who's allowed a career completion percentage of just 54.2 and a 70.6 passer rating through 4 seasons. That is borderline elite. Woolen joins a lights-out secondary featuring the young cornerback tandem of Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. This is a great deal for both sides. If Woolen proves to be a good fit in Philly, then he'll score a lucrative multi-year deal next year. Quay Walker, C. Raiders had money to spend. We get it. But $40.5 million for 3 years. Ugh, that is a little much for a player who's never put it all together. If Walker couldn't unlock his potential on a well-coached Packers team, how sure are the Raiders that they'll get it out of him? Tua Tagovailoa, C. After he was released by the Dolphins, Tagovailoa quickly signed a 1-year pact with the Atlanta Falcons for the veterans minimum of $1.3 million. Atlanta has poured all these resources into Michael Penix Jr. Now they want to make it an open competition between him and one of the league's worst starting QBs in the last 2 years? Jalen Watson, A+. After completing a blockbuster trade for former Chiefs superstar cornerback Trent McDuffie, the Los Angeles Rams reunited the super duo by signing Watson to a 3-year, $51 million contract in free agency. Not sure about you, but that seems totally unfair to us. As if the NFC runner-ups weren't already scary enough. Kyler Murray, A+. Everyone knew that the Minnesota Vikings would find competition for J.J. McCarthy. And you know what? Mission accomplished. Thanks to his release from the Arizona Cardinals, Minnesota was able to sign the #1 pick of 2019 to the veterans minimum, a 1-year deal worth $1.3 million. Hey, worst case for Minnesota, McCarthy plays well enough to keep the QB1 job. And then they have the league's best backup. Best case, Murray wins the QB competition and gets to take over one of the league's most star-studded defensive units. But what do you think was the best NFL free agent signing of 2026? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.